small hip circle in Middle Eastern dance is one of the sexiest isolations, and it's also one of the hardest. It takes a lot of practice to gain control of that movement, and it uses all the muscles in the pelvic area. So we're going to break it down into the 4 corners, and then we're going to try and smooth it out. The sides of the small hip circle are the singles. Hip drops right and left. Right glute, left glute, right glute, left glute. The front and back of the small hip circle is the lower ab isolation. Pulling from the lower abs, nice flat back. The back of the small hip circle, easy, is the neutral spine. It's not the hyperextended lower back. We're going to pull and crunch and release. Pull and crunch and release. So the small hip circle in Middle Eastern dance is a close relative of the African small hip circle, which we've all seen if you have a television set on MTV. The African small hip circle reaches back, back, back. They keep the downbeat in the back. Hip hop is a close relative of West African dance, and that's where this small hip circle comes from. Back, back, back. In Middle Eastern dance, the accent is to the front, front, and crunch, and crunch. And each one of these little circles is like a little sit-up. It's really active through the abdominal area with the glutes supporting it on the sides. So the actual range of motion of the small hip circle is a circle to the front. Similarly, the chest circle is a chest circle to the front, and we don't explore the back half of the circle. In Middle Eastern dance generally, the small hip circle is front and around to a neutral spine instead of front to back. Front to back. This position, if you're not very careful and you don't have very strong abs to support the pressure in the lower back, can really easily lead to injuries. So we're going to try to avoid it. If you want to use it in performance for accents or for different things in interpreting the music, that's fine. Every artist has their preference and choice. But when you practice, try not to let yourself move your spine into this position. Strengthen the lower abs, strengthening through the abdominal wall, and pull it towards the front. Pull, pull. If you're used to hitting that accent in the back and you find yourself doing it to the front for 2 counts and then kind of letting it release to the back, really try and have the focus and think of where the shape of that hip circle is underneath your rib cage. Try and keep it to the front. Try not to let it ease back. Let's try some with music.